The Baltimore Ravens head into the final week of the regular season, week 18, with more questions than answers as they head to Cincinnati for a divisional showdown, which could possibly decide the fate of where the Ravens will play in the wild card round and their standing in the AFC North. Ravens, Bengals, preview here on the Flex Zone Podcast YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell, comment, let me know your prediction, your scores, and your keys to the game as the Ravens head into Week 18, their last regular season game, with their ticket punched to the playoffs. Flex Zone Podcast, y'all. Tune in. What's going on, Flex Zone family? God's favorite host, the host of the Moist, back here on the Flex Zone Podcast YouTube channel. Only place giving you your sports how you want it when you need it. Go ahead, sack that subscribe button. Subscribe if you're new. Go ahead and make sure you hit stick that like button. Leave us a like and go ahead and bulldoze that bell to know when we're live, as we'll be live for the official Baltimore Ravens post-game show after the Ravens and Bengals this Sunday. But this game, as I mentioned, a lot more questions than answers. Apparently, after the horrific situation on Monday, the NFL has suspended the Bills-Bengals game. It will not be made up. Our thoughts here at the Flex Zone, our prayers are with Lamar and his family. You can check out the show we did on Monday where we reacted to it live, and we got your feedback as well. NFL has said that if the Ravens beat the Bengals on this coming Sunday, the two teams are scheduled to play a wildcard game, so they will play 2 weeks in a row, and the home team will be determined by a coin toss. Not sure how I really feel about that personally, because I think the Ravens come into this game battered and bruised after a tough loss to the Steelers, their divisional foes last week, going to Cincinnati, who was already up 7-3 and driving the football down the field when Damar Hamlin's unfortunate injury happened. I think it's going to be a tough ask for the Ravens to win this game. Lamar Jackson, he won't play. He'll miss another game. He's missed 15 straight practices now. This will be his 5th straight game he's missed. I'm banking on the fact that he will practice this coming week heading into the wild card matchup. Hopefully a full week of practice so he can knock some of that rust off. But even then, if he plays, he may still start a little slow and rusty. Tyler Huntley has a shoulder injury. He's been limited. Anthony Brown has taken a lot of reps. Does Anthony Brown start? I honestly would like to see what Anthony Brown can bring to the table. I think as a pure pocket passer, he is better than Tyler Huntley. And I think Tyler Huntley struggles reading coverages, reading defenses. He doesn't go through his progressions. He makes his first read and just pretty much starts to run to the right each time. So I think Tyler Huntley is a solid backup. I would like to see what Anthony Brown can bring to the table. I think him and Huntley are pretty much even keel, in my opinion. Huntley just has more experience, more exposure to NFL defenses and the speed of the game. But Brown, when he came in against the Steelers, did make a throw here or throw there. And while he may not be able to do things with his legs that we're used to at the quarterback position, I think he can present some opportunities in the passing game if the run game is moving the way that it was when he was in the Steelers, against the Steelers. I really don't like the Ravens' chances in this game. I've really picked them every week doing these previews. I've only picked against them when they played Buffalo. And I think this is probably the first time all year the Ravens could legitimately be blown out and potentially ran off the field. I know it's a divisional foe. I know it's a rivalry game. I know it's a team that they're familiar with. They beat the Bengals 19-17 way back in week 5, but this is a completely different Bengals team. They're one of the hottest teams in the league. They're throwing the ball perfectly. Joe Burrow's in the MVP conversation. They're running the ball effectively. Their defense is coming into its own, and probably this team on paper looks even better than the team last year that went to the Super Bowl. Ravens, hopefully they get Calais Campbell back this week. Hopefully they get Marcus Peters back this week because they need to do a better job, and I'll get to it in my keys, of setting the edge, stopping the run, because the offensive line of the Steelers dominated them last week, as well as containing the wide receivers of the Bengals. We know they're great when they get the ball in their hands of Marcus Peters, would help out tremendously, even though he has struggled at times this season as well. I would love to see them play. And maybe it's a situation where the Ravens look at it and say, hey, yes, if we do beat the Bengals, we could potentially have to play them again next week, and it's a coin toss for the home team. But do the Ravens possibly want to try to avoid playing the Bengals even? Ravens fans, would you rather play the Bengals again for 2 weeks in a row or go back to Jacksonville, who did beat the Ravens, but the Ravens should have won that game, if we're being honest? I don't know. We'll see where the chips may fall, where the cards land. I do think the Ravens have a tough matchup today, and I want to get to my keys to the game. Feel free to leave your keys to the game and your predictions down below. But offensively, we're going to start with the offensive line. Has to win versus their defensive line. I think it was the worst game possibly of the season for the offensive line last week. TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, they dominated. Ronnie Stanley was getting pushed back. Ricard was getting manhandled. Linderbaum had some bad penalties. Moses was getting tore up on his side. Zeitler was getting pushed back. It just wasn't a good day for the offensive line. The offensive line has to win versus their defensive line, Hubbard, Hendrickson, and those guys. They got to win. They got to dominate the line of scrimmage. Secondly, we got to rush for over 200 yards as a team. Dobbins made some plays last week. The Steelers were running 6 defensive linemen, but he made some guys miss, bounce things to the outside. I think his ability to do that is very, very important. Use Gus Edwards. He should have more than 3 carries this week. He should have at least 12 to 15, in my opinion. I think Gus Bus needs to get rolling as we head into the playoffs and wear down his defense throughout the game. Third, Anthony Brown, Tyler Huntley, whoever the quarterback is, we know it won't be Lamar Jackson. Use misdirection and play action to attack the defensive backs. Eli Apple, I think there are some opportunities to win against their corners. Giro, I'm talking to you. Use some bootlegs, use some waggles, use some play action opportunities. Spread this team out. Use some screens. Use some crossing routes. Use some things that can get your receivers open. Scheme them open. Use DeMarcus Robinson in motion. Use Deshaun Jackson. Use Sammy Watkins even. He had 20-plus snaps and didn't even have a target last week. Andrews, I expect Andrews to potentially have another big game. He looks like he's fully healthy. I could see Andrews going for another 80 to 100 yards if they're going to force feed him, which could lead him to be double teamed a lot, which could leave opportunities for other guys. The Bengals aren't great against the pass, but you got to use some opportunities, scheme them open, because we don't have the best receivers as we know. Convert on third down. Got to stay on the field on third down. That's why good first and second down play calls are important. Third and manageable, third and short, where you can give it to Gus, where you can use your opportunities that you have in the run game to convert third downs. And lastly, win time of possession. The best way to beat this team, in my opinion, is keep their offense off the field. Keep Joe Burrow on the side with the Microsoft Surface tablet. Jamar Chase, Higgins, Boyd, Hurst. Keep them on the sideline. Mixon, P. Ryan. Don't let them have the ball. Keep them on the sideline, win time of possession. Defensively, let's get to the defense. Bother Burrow. They had 2 sacks last time they played Burrow. Hopefully, Calais Campbell's back. I would like to see some more Ajabo potentially. Broderick Washington, Justin Houston, JPP. Can we get some pressure on Burrow? I would like to see maybe 3 sacks minimum, but definitely heavy pressures. He likes to get rid of the ball quickly and get it to his receivers so they can make plays. Make them hold on to the ball a little bit. Make sure you get some pressure. Jam these receivers. Don't give them free releases off the line. Allow Burrow to have to hold on to the ball, not allow him to get the ball out quickly. Maybe 3 sacks is a target number I would like to see to get pressure on Burrows. Maybe 6 or 7 pressures would be very, very important as well. Limit yak. These team is probably one of the best yak teams in the league. Hurst, Chase, Higgins, Boyd, Mixon, P. Ryan. I mean, you can go down a list. You gotta limit the yak. You can't let them take a 10-yard pass 50, 60 yards. You can't let them take a 15-yard pass to the house. You can't let them take a screen pass 60, 70 yards down the field on you. You gotta limit their yak yardage. You can't let them make big plays. That's how they make their living offensively in this passing game. Next, defensive line set the edge. That's why I think it's very important to get Calais Campbell back. I think it's very, very important that we utilize what he can do on the defensive line. Get his hands up, bat ball, set the edge. Got to set the edge because Mixon and P. Ryan, they can gash you too. They can rush for over 200 yards if they're cooking. We saw Mixon get going in the last game. Got to contain this run game too. You can't let them beat you in both ways. You only got to have one that can beat you. You can't let them beat you in both dimensions. You only got to let them beat you in one. Make them one-dimensional at least. Force some takeaways. Defense, I'm calling you to help out your offense. Last week, you got dominated in the run game. The offensive line of the Steelers dominated you. You got to get some takeaways. Marcus Williams, Peters, you're back, hopefully. Humphrey, Campbell, Roquan Smith, Pat Queen. We need some takeaways. Help out your offense. Give them a short field. Maybe give them a touchdown on the board. Help out your offense. Lastly, get off the field on third down. We want the offense to stay on the field on third down. We want the defense to get off the field on third down. Don't keep this offense on the field. Don't let them get the momentum that they like. They can make big plays. They can take their shots on first down. But if they're converted on third downs and they're continuing these drives, it's going to be a long day potentially for the Ravens. Don't let them have big plays. Make them continually have to go 10, 12 plus plays to score on you. Mix it up. 3 down linemen sometimes. 4 down linemen sometimes. Bring your occasional blitzes. Mixing your coverages. Use your zone blitzing schemes. Different looks are very, very important for them. Special teams, all points matter. Tucker, if you're in range. Harbaugh, Chris Horton, take the points. The Ravens are going to need every point they can if they want to win this game. And lastly, for special teams, Justice Hill, make another big return or two. He had a fantastic kick return last week. Get some kick returns where you're starting at the 35, 40-yard line. Maybe a punt return where you're changing positioning on the field, where you're getting past the 50, getting to the 45, the 40. I think Justice Hill can bring a spark to this team, maybe even using him in the screen game. I would like to see Justice Hill, like I said, if he's going to take it out and return something, get past the 30, get to the 35, the 40-yard line, get the punts on the other side of the 50. Let's go through the keys one more time. Offensively, offensive line win versus their defensive line. Rush for over 200 yards as a team. Use misdirection and play action to attack their defensive backs. Convert on third down and win time of possession. Defensively, ball the barrel. Like I said, I would like to see around 3 sacks, 6 to 7 pressures, some harries in there. Limit yak yardage. Defensive line set the edge. Force some takeaways and get off the field on third down. Special teams, all points matter. And Justice Hill make another big return or two. Let me know your keys to the game down below, as I mentioned. And my prediction, I've only picked against the Ravens once this season, but I think this is a tough ask for the Ravens. I think the Bengals are going to be hungry, motivated, a little angry even that their game was canceled and suspended last week because they were winning and had a chance to beat even the number 1 seed in the AFC, which looks like it's not going to happen now if the Chiefs win this week. Zach Taylor is going to have his team motivated. Burrow wants to put on a statement. This game will be at 1 o'clock, by the way, not 4 o'clock, which we thought originally. They're going to be looking to come out. The crowd is going to be hot. They're going to be looking to dominate and make a statement as they are one of the teams to look out for as the playoffs start in the AFC. With that being said, I see the Bengals winning 27, Ravens 17. Again, Bengals 27, Ravens 17, dropping the Ravens to 10-7 on the season, still with the playoffs in front of them, and possibly a trip again, depending on how this game goes, back to Cincinnati in the Wildcard weekend as well. But I think those could be a little different circumstances because we could have Lamar back. Calais could be good. Marcus Peters. But I think this is a tough ask for the Ravens this week. I think this will be the game where they really will get blown out potentially. And I think the Bengals will separate late. It'll be close, I think, maybe for the first 2 quarters if the Ravens can keep it close. But I think that third and fourth quarter, I think coming out of the locker room, the Bengals will start to separate. And I see them with a 27-17 win over their Ravens. Let me know in the comments what you think about this game. What do you think the prediction is going to be? Where do you Ravens want to play in the playoffs going into Wildcard weekend? Do you want to go back to Jacksonville? Do you want to play Cincinnati again? Sound off in the comments. It's the Flex Zone Podcast. Only place giving you sports how you want when you need it. If you're finding us for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help us out if you're watching this video. Just hit the like button. It helps us out. Hit the bell to know when we're live, as we'll be live for the official post-game show as both the Ravens close out the regular season against the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, I'm going with the Bengals to win 27-17. Post-game show. Hit the bell to know when we're live. Videos consistently throughout the week as well. Only place giving you sports how you want when you need it. Flex Zone Podcast. God's favorite host. I am signing out. Let me know what you think as well as the Ravens traveling to Cincinnati. Post-game show Sunday after the Ravens Bengals, 27-17. I'm going with the Bengals. Let me know your keys, predictions, players to look out for, all that good stuff. Comments, sound off, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Hit the bell to know when we're live. Signing off, y'all. Prayers again for Lamar, and it's the only place giving you sports how you want to need it. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.